What are the 7 steps to wealth? It's what we're talking about today in the East Central Business Show. I'm John Naylor, joined by John Fitzgerald, now author, all-round good guy, property investor. There's a list that just goes on and on, it seems. But now we're on to the 3rd step and your 7 steps to wealth, yeah? And we've touched on a couple of others, so go back and watch them if you need to. But let's crack on with number 3. What do you got for us?
This is the most boring subject. Okay. You have to listen to me on.
I've got a boring accountant comes. He actually calls himself the boring accountant.
The boring accountant, yeah. This is boring, as my daughter would say, boring. But this is, step 3 is maximise your tax benefits. And as soon as I say maximise your tax benefits, if someone says it to me, you just fall asleep. You just want to fall asleep. Because you say, look, I don't want to know about tax benefits. But let me give you the upshot of it. If I'm buying property, simple. I'll give you the end game on this. I'm buying property. I want to be cash flow neutral, but still get a $10 or $15 or $20,000 tax deduction.
I like the sound of that. You got my attention now.
Okay. So here's what you need to do. The most important advice I can give you, if you're in the property business, find a property accountant. And a property accountant must be someone who owns at least 6 properties themselves and have done for at least 5 or 6 or 10 years. I really stress this. There is a massive difference between accountants and accountants, like there is between lawyers and lawyers. But as lay people, we think that all accountants are the same. They're absolutely not. And I'll give you a good story about this. Yeah. I had an accountant come to me 10 years ago, actually, and he said, and he was a client of mine, and he said, I reckon a lot of your clients aren't claiming their maximum tax deductions. And I said, well, look, I understand you'd say that, but what's the proof in the pudding? He said, put it out to a number of your clients that I will look at their tax returns, and if I can't find a deduction in their returns and go back and fix their returns, I will not charge them a fee.
Okay. Right.
Fair enough. Put your money where your mouth is.
Sure. That's a big guarantee.
He saved them $1.4 million. I was gobsmacked.
What, across, one client? Or
no. One of them got a check back from the tax department for something like $38,000. Okay. Others for $5,000, all that, because their accountants weren't claiming. Now,
where does that come into the 3rd step, though?
The 3rd step is you need to maximise your tax benefits, because the greatest unfair advantage we have as property investors is called negative gearing. And negative gearing is a very complex piece of tax, but it allows you to get tax deductions if you're a property investor. So you've got to absolutely use every deduction you possibly can. Now, the most important deduction is, as you said, is depreciation. You can't depreciate, you can't claim anything for a house built prior to 1985. And my view on depreciation is when you're buying a property, an investment property, you're really only buying the land. So buy new, because everything above the ground you can get a tax deduction for. Now,
there's been some recent changes in that regard, though, hasn't there?
Not yet. No, they're talking about changes. Well, when I say that, they made a minute change on on depreciation schedules for some small chattel items,
as opposed to the actual dwelling,
and you can't claim travel. But they haven't really tinkered with negative gearing. However, having said that, the Labor government are saying that we are going to change the Act and allow only negative gearing on new property, which means what I'm saying, 7 steps will still be relevant because buy new. It means you can't buy second-hand property. And Labor, Liberal, I'm not going to get into politics, but Labor's got a point, because 90% of people who buy an investment property buy second-hand because they think, I want to see it and all that sort of thing. I don't. I buy new.
You like new property?
I like new for 2 reasons. Number 1, I have a guarantee from the builder, sometimes up to 20 years.
Oh, of course you do. Yeah,
and that's important. And I've got a backup where the say the Queensland or the New South Wales or VCAT sit behind that guarantee for 6 or 7 years. So I'm guaranteed structurally. But number two, I can depreciate 100%, including the footings under the ground. And that's a tax benefit. Most of my clients are paying, between 10 and 20 cents tax in the dollar.
Okay.
Now, and a lot of my clients are earning $100,000 a year. So use the tax benefits. So when we say optimizing your income, how do we do it? Maximize your tax benefits. But as I said, like lawyers and accountants, and this is the hard part, find that accountant who is a property person, owns property, and same with getting advice off anyone on property too. Make sure they've owned property for the last 10, 20 years. And I'll tell you a funny story about this. When I was a 21 or 22 year old, and we've got a little bit of time in this segment, so it's a good story. I was a 21 or 22 year old, and I was working with my Jewish mentors, and I thought I knew something because I'd sold, probably 20, 30 properties. And I was talking to my Jewish mentors, and they'd been in the business for 30 years. And they said, and I'm telling them how good I am because I'd sold, 20, 30 properties and how much money I made, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then they asked me a question. They said, so what's your land tax bill? And what? I don't know. What are you talking about? What's my land tax bill?
Oh, it's a surprise for you at this point.
It was, I didn't even know.
You weren't ready for it?
I didn't even know what, and you know what I realized? They were working out how much real estate that I actually owned because they can work out if your land tax bill is, $1,000, you own $200,000 worth of property.
Okay.
And I didn't even know. And what they were saying to me is, until you're paying substantial land tax, you don't own any real estate.
You don't really have to go.
So what I'd say is, if you're looking for an accountant or anyone to advise you on property, ask them one question. They can't give me a copy of your land tax bill.
So that's actually the litmus test right there, yeah?
I think it's a great litmus test because I say to people, look, I own about 14 million square metres of land. I pay hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in land tax and have done for 20 years. But a lot of people are giving advice saying, oh, no, and they don't own any property. Same with an accountant. And that's the most important advice. Maximize your tax benefits. And if you have a strategy to build wealth in property, use your tax because your tax is about 30% of what you earn. Please use your tax because it's going to be vital in your wealth building. Absolutely vital.
Yeah, okay, cool. He's got the eye on the timing now. He's nailing it every single time now. Anyway, now how do people get some more John Fitzgerald?
Buy the book, 7 Steps to Wealth, or go on 7steps.com.au.
There you go. Okay, I think that's episode 3 now, John.
Correct.
Seems like I've got a few more left. Okay, that's another episode done. The East Central Business Show. I'm John Naylor. We'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching another episode of the East Central Business Show. What we're doing on the East Central Business Show is we're bringing you business leaders and the best of the knowledge. We want to bring them on the show and release that content so that that's something that we can share with you by this easy to consume format. So you can follow us across LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Google+, or just regularly visit the eastcentral.com.au/show website, pick out the best things for you and educate yourself on that premise. Now there's video content there for you, so you can just watch the video and inform yourself in your own time. We've also now podcasting that content as well, so it's really simple to consume. You can listen to it on the way to work in the car or during your daily exercise regime. Beyond that, we're also looking to connect with business experts. So if you consider yourself to be an expert in your field, please make contact so we can schedule you in and have you come on the show. So you can release your content and increase your brand across our format. Beyond that, we also invite people to send us their email address so we can send you our monthly magazine. And that's just the best of the content, the best of the videos for the month, put out once again in an email, arrives in your inbox, so you can just go through and pick out the things that are really going to educate you and advance you in your field of expertise and in business. We're a business-focused show. So thank you very much once again for watching, and we'll see you next time.